Hello and welcome to episode 2, season 2 of Championship Chats. Coming up in this episode, we will look back on Ferrybank Water's win over Ferrybank.
Oh, nice pass to Aaron Ryan. Deserves the score to move, and it finishes off with the score of the day.
And earlier we caught up with Seán Walsh ahead of the preliminary quarter-final versus Dungarvan this weekend.
Yeah, you just treat every game like a knockout game, and that's the mindset we've had all year, and that's the mindset we're going to stick with. So.
But before we hear from Seán, let's take a look back on last Saturday's victory. It was a game to prove a point for both teams. Ferrybank Water and Ferrybank missed out on points from their previous games in the group stages, so it was all up for grabs. After a change of venue, the unfamiliar terrain of Dungarvan GA grounds was where the teams would go to battle. Ferrybank Water started strongly with 1-1 coming from Michael Morrissey within the first 2 minutes of the game.
Towards Seán Walsh. Walsh breaks it down to Morrissey. He's got a point already. Morrissey is bearing down on goal here for 4 Mile and smacks it in to the top corner of the net.
Ferrybank got off the mark in the 3rd minute, but it was really Ferrybank Water who owned the first quarter. The tide began to turn slightly in the second quarter, with Ferrybank beginning to find their form and slowly clawing back from their deficit. Aaron Ryan and Seán Walsh continued to score for their sides in order to hold onto the lead in the first half. Ferrybank worked hard and managed to narrow the gap to just 1-1 at the break. The half-time score read Ferrybank Water 111, Ferrybank 10 points. Ferrybank's purple patch continued up until the 39th minute when they managed to get within 2 points of Ferrybank Water, but that was short-lived as Ferrybank began to batten down the hatches and edge further away from their opponents with the help of Dermot Ryan and Aaron Ryan. Ferrybank saw their opportunity to once again cause problems for Ferrybank Water. However, goalie Stephen Ryan made sure that wouldn't happen as he threw his body on the line in front of a Ferrybank effort. Ferrybank began to push on once again from the 56th minute with Seán Walsh looking for the final say in the match as he got his side's second goal in the final minute.
Oh, here's Dermot Ryan though. 4 Mile still have goal on their mind. Seán Walsh. Goal for 4 Mile Water.
The full-time score from Dungarvan was Ferrybank Water 220, Ferrybank 17 points. We will now cross over to hear from Seán. Seán, well done on the win last Saturday. Are you happy with how things went in that game? Getting that win on the board was very important.
Yeah, sure. I suppose obviously starting with Abbey side there in the year, we didn't get what we wanted out of it, but it is great to have a win on the board now, and we kind of have build up a bit of a momentum now. We get going again. So yeah, it's great to get a win under our belt anyway, and hopefully we'll build on from that now from the next day.
You started that match quite strongly, and you were 8 points up as early as 11 minutes in. But in fairness to Ferrybank, they came back to within 2 points early in the second half. But when the game was that close, how did you manage to push on and win by 9 points?
Well, sir, I suppose we just stuck to our own game plan, and yeah, we started off good in the first 10 minutes. We kind of dropped off then had a purple patch, but we kind of just concentrated on bringing ourselves back into it and focusing on our own game, and play the game that we wanted to play. And thank God we came out on top anyway at the end. And
now the position that leaves you in is that you're in the preliminary quarter-final on Saturday, and that's against Dungarvan. And recent history now has shown that the games between 4 Mile and Dungarvan, they can go either way. But what will it come down to on the day to make sure you get that win?
I suppose it'll come down to whoever wants it more, whoever's tougher up in the top of the head now. I suppose hurling and tactics and everything you can bring into play, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to whoever wants it more. And yeah.
And this game against Dungarvan, it's knockout, of course, and that's going to mean the end of any progression in this year's championship for one of the two teams. Now, does that weigh in on your preparations, be that in training or personally for yourself in the days leading up to the match, or do you just treat it like any other game?
Well, we try. Ramos is always saying there that treat every game like it's knockout, and we try to have that mindset going into every game. And obviously preparations is the exact same for every game, and getting your food right and getting your sleep right, and yeah, you just treat every game like a knockout game, and that's the mindset we've had all year, and that's the mindset we're going to stick with. So that's what we're going to go with anyway for the weekend.
And very best luck on Saturday, Seán. Thanks very much.
But.
And that's all for this episode. The preliminary quarter-final takes place this Saturday in Field at 6:45 p.m. But if you're unable to attend, fear not, You can tune into our Twitter page at Nara4Mile for live score updates. And a big thank you to Seán Walsh for his contribution in this episode, and thank you to Clubber TV for using their clips. But all that's left to say is the very best of luck to Formal Water on Saturday. See you next time.